it's riddled with bullet holes. Sheriff Newman says whoever did this was determined to kill Hubbard. It was right here they found him slumped over the steering wheel. This is the carport he's talking about. As you can see, it's falling apart, and look up here, nails are sticking out. The parents say they were asleep in the back of their house when 3 masked men kicked in the front door of their home. Jerry Nelson, who owns Nutty Jerry's, has been mentioned a lot when it comes to Four Parks SMG contract renewal. Today marks a tragic anniversary for a Southeast Texas family. It's been 12 years since the disappearance of Kimberly Langwell. You may be wondering why I'm holding my nose. Well, you probably would be too if you were standing over dead fish that neighbors say has been here for at least a week. It's been raining on and off in Southeast Texas. Fortunately, this has not stopped people from voting. As a matter of fact, people here at Rogers Park are still coming in before the polls close at 7. This is the roof authorities believe George jumped off of or possibly slid down this pipe. If you ever had to come down to the Jefferson County Courthouse, you should be used to going through its courthouse security. How about the guy that was going like this?
Pretty good.
Just, hey. How about you, James? And we have breaking news in Beaumont tonight. Police are at the scene of a SWAT standoff on the 9600 block of Grove Street. 20%, we need more than that. We need some hard rain terrain. You think you can break out your magic wand?
I mean, I'll try, but I've tried before and I failed every time.
Chip Whiteman and his 5-year-old son Connor are looking for his phone charger. Just one of several things buried in their trailer.
Storm was going on, wind blowing, raining hard.
They were both in when a tornado violently slammed it over Wednesday morning.
Thunder and the lightning was getting louder and louder and closer, and I was just worrying about it. I said, man, that lightning's getting ready to strike right on top of us.
Seconds later, Whiteman says their home was lifted off the ground and fell on their car.
Right when I grabbed him, he flew into my arms as we fell backwards and landed on a big pile of teddy bears.
Amazingly, Connor slept through it all. What happened?
I feel like a roller coaster ride.
A ride they were able to make it off alive.
The tornado had to have been bad because the pool, this is just separated out.
Right up the road, Nancy McDermott not only suffered exterior damage to her home, but this tree was split in half.
And I could hear a crashing noise, and like something hit the house, and I ran in the back into the closet.
The town also experienced down power lines, and debris was scattered over fields, like this mangled trampoline, tin that blew off of barns, and shingles that ripped off of rooftops. A doghouse was also ripped off of its foundation and thrown a couple of feet. But through it all, Chip and Connor are just lucky to be alive.
It was very good to realize when it was all of a sudden it was over.
Raquel, Duncan, Fox 4 News. Look closely. You're looking at dead fish dumped in the Port Arthur neighborhood. And just a couple of blocks away is what's left from a boar. Whoa! Whee! The sight of the carcasses is enough to make this nearby mother sick to her stomach.
It's very irritating. We have little kids, we have a dog that he gravitates towards the smell. It's always windy here, and the smell just comes around the house, and I mean, you can smell it in your car, you can smell it from your front door. It's pretty gross. You may be wondering why I'm holding my nose. Well, you probably would be too if you were standing over dead fish that neighbors say has been here for at least a week in their subdivision.
It's disgusting. You know, fish that's been cleaned and dumped, that don't smell too good.
And the problems don't end there.
We can't let our tractors hit that. You know, we'll sling glass everywhere.
Jefferson County Commissioner Brent Weaver says illegal dumping throughout the county is getting out of hand.
This type of debris on the county right-of-ways and alongside the road delays our mowers. You know, not only is it a health hazard in some of the situations, but, you know, it can block drainage.
From sofas to bags of debris to just plain trash, Weaver says dumping in the county is not only against the law, but a burden on taxpayers.
A lot of this originates from citizen complaining. You know, they live out in rural areas. They don't like to see their areas being trashed up.
Weaver suggests taking unwanted debris at your city's landfill. Lori is hoping illegal dumpers take Weaver's suggestions into consideration.
It kind of makes me feel a little bit unsafe. You know, if they're willing to do that, it makes me want to activate my alarm system.
Raquel, Duncan, Fox 4 News. Well, a Beaumont woman's holiday weekend turned tragic when a pit bull attacked the family pet. Her dog survived, but he's critically hurt, and she doesn't have the money to treat him. She also fears what happened to her dog could happen again. A tragedy for one Jasper family that perished in a plane crash on Christmas Eve. A single-engine aircraft crashed in the snow on the Wind River Mountains at about 11,500 feet. Now, the cause of the crash is under investigation. Ralph Day, his wife Doris, and their son Connor were all killed in the crash. The Days owned and operated Day Forestry Appraisal and Management in Jasper. Police say they have no leads as to who vandalized property at the Beaumont Independent School District Administration Building. Surveillance video shows two men at Port Arthur home went up in flames early this morning. The house is located in the 5100 block of 4th Street. And speaking of fireplaces, a perfect night to cuddle up next to one.
Absolutely.
It's the first time ever in my life, and I've been here for 37 years, that I've ever seen it this dry.
Jerry Copeland is talking about the wildfires burning not far from her home.
You can still see the little flames, in the woods, so it's kind of scary, especially with the wind blowing.
The forest fire started Sunday at a gas drilling operation north of Kuntz. The same day, Jerry and her family saw the fire jump Highway 69.
When it jumped the road, we were all screaming. We were scared, and so my stepdad just turned around and went the back roads.
Today, crews are out maintaining the contained fires, making sure it doesn't escape. The fire has burned almost 600 acres. Even though the fire is contained, there's a lot of wood out here still smoldering and burning. No structures have been damaged as a result of the blaze, but this cemetery wasn't so lucky. This historical cemetery right off of Highway 69 burned in the fire. It's a cemetery some didn't know existed, and several of these headstones date back to the 1800s.
It's very, very sad. Partially because it's not cleaned up, that if you didn't know it's there, you would not see it.
As the fire continues to burn, firefighters are expected to monitor the area for the next several days.
I'm hoping that it comes a big storm tonight and rains, and we get enough rain that it puts it all out.
Raquel, Duncan, Fox 4 News.
Ooh, look at that.
What color is that?
4-year-old Kamari plays with his parents and brother.
That's a falcon.
Quality time his parents appreciate, especially after what they're calling a close call at a Beaumont daycare Thursday.
It makes me sad that people that are supposedly in charge of my children, that are adults, would do something so sloppy.
Lucas says her son was left on one of the daycare vans at Learning Tree Daycare. She says the van driver was supposed to take Kamari to school, but he never made it.
Adults can really speak for themselves, but a child really can't. And that was my concern.
The owner of Learning Tree Daycare says Makari was only left on the daycare van 15 to 20 minutes, but the 4-year-old's mother believes it was much longer.
Texas is hot. Even sometimes in the winter, it's hot. And you get a child in a vehicle that's closed up, anything could happen.
The daycare owner says the 4-year-old fell asleep in the van. The driver was filling in for the driver who usually drops the kids off at school. The owner admits the driver did not follow procedure by making sure all the children were off the van. The driver was fired.
He could have gotten out of the van, got hit by a car. Concord is a busy, busy street. That intersection is right up the street. That would have been a nightmare for me.
They race your mama.
A nightmare Lucas says she's thankful she did not have to experience. Raquel, Duncan, Fox 4 News.